So like I said, guys, this is a new front bumper. This is going to be a bolt together style, like the Move one. You had to weld it yourself. So this one is a fully bolt together. It comes in a bed liner kind of material. So I'm not certain. I might end up welding it solid if I like the looks of it and color matching it, obviously, to the 98. But here is all their info right here. They do a lot of Jeep stuff. And I've seen they make front and rear bumpers for the CK style trucks. They have, I think, 3 different options for front bumpers and I think 2 different options for rear bumpers. But yeah, let's go ahead and grab a knife real quick. We will get this bad boy cut open. But like I said, I may not get it fully mounted today just because I am going to be putting on 2 new corner pieces for the Move bumper. I had to do some trimming and stuff to make everything kind of look right. So I'm going to have 2 new of these coming, and then I have a newer valence piece. I'll probably leave this one in here though for now until I see how that bumper mounts up. But yeah, I'm gonna grab a knife real quick, get this thing cut open, and we'll start unboxing. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and just get these straps cut here, get this thing opened up, see what we're working with, go from there. Man, they did a pretty good job packaging this thing. It's nice and tight in there. Got foam everywhere. We won't need these. There's our directions. They were taped to the top of the box, so good thing we looked in there. But I'm hoping this thing's pretty much self-explanatory. Looks like some gaskets here, probably to eliminate some vibration and different stuff on like the frame rails. We'll set those aside. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this up loose. Looks like we got our front mounting plate, kind of like a license plate material. Man, that's some sturdy stuff. Try some brackets here. I know what I do with my knife now. And again, guys, this thing is not light. You can hear it. As I set it down there, I'm going to say this is probably 25-ish pounds. They already got, looks like, the lights pre-wired in, so that's kind of cool. So here looks like our main centerpiece for the bumper. And then that means these are going to be our outer wings. Here's our frame brackets, it looks like. Probably our hardware here in this box. Yep, that's hardware. Gonna get this thing cut open so we can see what it looks like. Yep, so here's one wing piece. Hopefully you guys can see that. That's a nice, I mean, that's a thick piece of metal. Hopefully you guys can see that. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but I mean, that's pretty thick, solid. They already got the lights pre-wired, or I guess mounted in there. Everything's ran. Adjustable bracket. So this should go together fairly easy. It looks like we got 3 bolt locations here. They do have like inserts. Let me try and get this. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not, but they got some inserts in there, so it looks like they're pre-threaded, which is nice. Got like the nuts welded on the back. So like I said, this thing should hopefully go together fairly quick. I'm gonna go ahead and get those other 2 pieces, our main piece here, and then our other wing piece here, pulled apart. And then I'm gonna probably skim through the directions real quick, see what we're working with, And like I said, this thing should be pretty self-explanatory and get it all put together. All right, guys, so I have everything put together here. I showed you like how the bolts go in from the sides there. And then I got the brackets on. I had to do a little trimming on the bottom side and the top side of each bracket. That's no big deal. I left everything loose so I can get it kind of adjusted where I want it. And then I'll come back and tighten everything down. I may end up drilling a third hole in this to get my third bolt on the bottom of the frame rail there lined up. But I'm gonna go ahead and drag it over there and get this thing slid in and see what it looks like on the truck. All right, so we got everything. Like I said, I had to do a little trimming on those brackets, but everything is bolted down. Not tight, just kind of snug to hold it in place. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what this thing looks like on the truck. I definitely like the way this thing fits. It's nice and snug. They do recommend taking off the lower valence piece on the truck. If you guys, that lower, that holds your grill in, that piece. I left mine on because when I had the move bumper, I trimmed it down. Typically there's a lip that sticks out and I would see where it would interfere if you did have the stock one. I'll show you guys what I mean when I trimmed it down. But let's go ahead and check this thing out. Look at that, guys. Like I said, this thing fits in there nice. Put tape on the fender so I wouldn't scratch anything. But this is more of the look I was going for. That kind of off-road bumper, but it's tucked up kind of in the truck, doesn't stick out super far. This Hooke Road bumper is definitely, I mean, it fits in there very well, other than trimming the brackets, like I said, but that is no big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and mark my third hole on the bottom of where it slips into the frame rail and get it bolted down. But like I said, just check this thing out. Obviously, we got to do some adjustment here on the sides and stuff, but here is that piece, like I said, that I trimmed off. That would have a lip on it. I got it tucked up underneath of it right now, and I think that's how I'm gonna roll with it. I need to adjust the bumper down just slightly, which in those brackets you have up and down and side to side adjustment, which will help with aligning obviously your sides left and right, so you can kind of get that gapping right, and then up and down. Like I said, I'm gonna kind of drop it just a hair, just so we slip in underneath. I mean, we're nice and smooth until we get about right here. We're kind of hitting a little bit, but I think I can get that pried up just a hair and drop the bumper just a little, and we'll be all right. But overall, I would say on a difficulty, 10 being super difficult, 1 being not difficult at all, this is probably a 4 to put together. It would have been a little easier if you had somebody else to kind of hold the wing pieces as you're trying to bolt everything together. And then obviously a second set of hands putting the bumper on, because you kind of got to get it, I mean, just right to get it to slip in there. But no big deal for one person. I got it done, so you can too. Like I said, the only thing I had to do was trim those brackets a hair, and then I'm gonna, like I said, mark my third hole, and we're gonna get this thing bolted down. But yeah, guys, this is definitely the look I was going for. It's nice that those pod lights are in there. I think I'm gonna probably wire those up to like a fog light instead of like a light bar type. They do have brackets in behind the mesh piece there for a light bar. I have the one off the Tahoe, but I'm probably not gonna, I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. And then they do have, like I said, the license plate here, which, I mean, like I said, guys, this stuff is nice and heavy. This isn't some cheap, just thrown together style bumper, but here's the license plate. It's got the tabs and everything that you could mount up if you wanted to. But I'm gonna leave mine off because I like the just slick look. And for it being a bolt together, I mean, you can kind of see the seam here. And then obviously the seam here, but those rubber, or excuse me, padded inserts go in between there to kind of help keep like the vibration, like I said. But yeah, guys, this thing turned out freaking awesome. I'm gonna probably end the video here.